Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back in time just ahead of Thursday night football. Here to answer your questions. I got you covered. I am Jason Draven, if you can't tell, right here. Answering your questions all night. So if you have them, I'm here to answer them. Whole point of the show. Game tonight, you get the Eagles and the Giants. No issues there. I'm not too worried about it. Unfortunately, I don't really love any of the matchups here. I'm very curious to see how well I can't think of it. Jackson Dart does. This is a really tough defense, so it will be interesting to kind of see how that ends up breaking up for him, how that offense gets moving. It's going to be very going on. So, sorry, I don't know what's going on with my internet. It's clearly cutting in and out. So if you have your questions and I haven't answered them, I'm going to try. I haven't seen any come in yet, but whole point of the show is to make sure that I am getting your questions answered. So ask away. Sorry about the in and out. Unsure of why that's happening. Let's see. You're probably going to play AJ Brown. Don't really love Devontae Smith. Dallas Goedert is likely going to start as a tight end for you. Then you go to the other side of the ball. I'm not starting Dart. Oh, I am going to start the Eagles defense as well because I do expect Dart to. I think the over/under was half interception, so I'm taking the over on that because I think that's a pretty easy one. And then as well, I'm looking at Wan'Dale Robinson and Theo Johnson. I think both have the volume to actually have a good game. So I think both are going to be viable options this week. Again, you're wanting them in the wide receiver position and the running back position, not the flex. You want that ability to be flexible when it comes to Sunday night games. So, BZ, welcome in. Got one RB and one flex. So I'm picking two. Scadby, Warren, Pollard, Olave, and Waddle. It's definitely going to be Waddle. I think I'm probably going to go Pollard. I think the volume's more there. I'm curious to see how this whole Scadaboo Tracy debacle works out tonight. Definitely going to be more interesting to see how that breaks down. Really wish I could just play Olave and Waddle, not have to worry about a running back, but completely understand the situation. So gonna roll with it and hope for the best. Shane, you're right. Fly, Eagles fly. Should be an easy one for him as long as nobody gets hurt. Knock on wood. Had to get that in. Wan'Dale tonight, Kareem Hunt or Kamani Vidal. We talked about Vidal in pretty good depth yesterday as I'm really off of him as an option this week. If this is PPR, I'm probably going to go any kind of PPR, half or full. I'm going to go Wan'Dale. Otherwise, I would go Hunt. I also do not. He needs to play a wide receiver, not your flex. So you have to put him in there and hope that you have more flexibility for who you're starting tonight. All right. So, if you guys have questions, ask away. I will be answering them as this show goes on. As I touched on earlier, I do expect Barkley should be fine. I just expect him to not have as big a game as he normally would because of the fact that I expect the Eagles to win pretty handily. So that hurts him just a smidge, but just how it is. Let's see. That's all the stuff for today. Guys haven't already, please like and subscribe. Here to answer the question. So get them in. You still have, 25 minutes. So plenty of time. Trying to decide anything else that you guys really want me to touch on. As for tonight, I'm not playing the Giants D. I'm really nervous about Scadaboo because, again, Tracy's back. I don't love that as an option. And then the only players I'm really comfortable playing are Wan'Dale, Theo Johnson, and maybe even if you're really desperate, Bellinger. But I think you can play Johnson. I think he's going to be the more valuable of the two players at the tight end position for the Giants. So should be pretty easy. And then, of course, it's not that I hate it, but I have difficulty trusting any kind of restarting my phone just in case. Nice. All right, PPR, Wan'Dale or Ridley? Daniel, that's a good one. I think it really depends on what your matchup is looking like. If you want upside, I'm going to go Ridley because I don't think Wandale has it. I think this is a decent matchup. I'm just really nervous about playing him. So I'm off of Wandale the best I can. I still have him rated. Let's see. I think I have him as a wide receiver 3 flex. I currently have Wandale at 32. Meanwhile, I have Ridley at 28. So a little bit of a difference between the two. So Dayton Smith or D Montgomery. I'm not sure if you're talking about a flex. So it's probably assuming that's Devontae Smith. I'm not playing Devontae Smith in my flex position, so I'd be rolling out Montgomery. So I really don't love it. If you have other options, I'd definitely be looking at that. There's a lot of good options this week to flex, but it's tough. So, well, are we at a point that you can drop Chase Brown to open a bench spot? It really depends on for who. I'm kind of holding him just because I think this week is a unique situation. You have the opportunity of Joe Flacco coming in. We talked about it in depth yesterday. You guys really have to see how we have this whole list of shows. This is one you can get all of your questions answered. We go in depth into stuff like this. So we talked about Chase Brown in depth yesterday. The fact that they have Joe Flacco now, Joe Flacco is averaging, so this is just an average, 8 targets to the running back position. And if Chase Brown is seeing 8 targets, that means he's at least getting, I'm going to say, 8 points out of it because I'm guessing he's catching 6. So, and that's without any rushing added on, yards after catch, really. That's just a basic him getting 6 catches and roughly 20 yards. So you're looking at, 3 to 4 yards a catch, which is pretty low. Very doable for Chase Brown. So curious to see how that works out. Esty, what's up? Is that a Southwest wing I see there? All right. Scadaboo or Stevenson. Again, I'm really off of Scadaboo. I'm really nervous about this matchup. Also, the fact that Tyrone Tracy's back. So I'm going to go Stevenson. Really like him as an option. I think there's the fact that we talked about again yesterday in depth, how he's a good pass pro, which really is going to keep him on the field a lot more than anybody wants or really prefers. But so Henderson's going to be sitting back until he can pick that up as a skill. What's up, Tank? Yeah, I don't think you go wrong. So if I look at my defenses, I'm pretty sure I still have Eagles fairly high. Yeah, so they were 1, but without Carter, they are now 2, just behind the Rams, who I think are about to just eat up the Ravens without Lamar. So I have the Colts at 4, so I really don't think you go wrong when it comes to these two defenses. I just think that it depends on your scoring. I expect the Rams to really be able to get after the Ravens and Cooper Rush. So, what's up, Jeff? Need one. Devontae Smith, Tony Pollard, Kendrick Bourne. Okay, I really like Bourne here, especially because, again, DNPs for I'm going to double check because I'm pretty sure I had it down as DNPs for Jennings and Pearsall. Yeah, so both did not practice. Pearsall got some work along the side, but I'm not really willing to trust that. So I think Bourne is going to be pretty set up. Think he gives you a lot more upside. So I'm going to roll that out and hope for the best. So good luck, Jeff. Brady Lee, Wandale, or Michael Carter, and why? Okay. So I don't love any of these options. I really am nervous for Carter because the Colts have been a very strong defense. That's part of the reason I'm having him at 4. The fact that Kyler Murray is potentially going to be sidelined, also don't like that. He has 2 DNPs this week. They are, as of now, kind of planning to have Brissett also as part of an option. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. But I also do not love Wandale. I also hate that this is a flex position for you. And so I'd much rather put him in a wide receiver so you have that chance. If you are down Going into Sunday night, you can put somebody who has, or even Sunday afternoon, you can put somebody who has more upside in that flex spot. So I'm going to probably go Wandale, pass catcher. Also, the fact that DeMarcado, they've kind of walked back. The fact that the coach has gotten fined and all that stuff, I expect him to be used. The fact that they are also going to be chasing points means 2-minute drill and a lot more third downs, which means DeMarcado is going to be on the field more. Little more nervous about him this week. As I was very bullish on Carter last week, I'm kind of off of him this week for that reason. Yeah, Daniel, you're projected lose. Go Ridley. What's up, Skypoint? Scatterboo or Diggs? Diggs. The fact, again, scared for Scatterboo. Tyrone Tracy's back. Don't love that. Diggs really broke out for me. Finally, he had been one of the players that I expected them to bring along and him to ramp up his snaps. Well, they didn't really end up having to. His snaps stayed pretty consistent. They moved him up a little, but he's still not playing a majority. And even in that short amount of time, he's become their best wide receiver, and they've learned to throw to him. Again, we talked about this in depth yesterday, so rolling out Diggs. Tamara, Tonjes over Njoku. Yeah, I'm still going to go Tonjes. Again, we're not sure about the pass-catching options in San Francisco right now. Jennings and Pearsall both likely are looking like they're out. They haven't practiced this week. Pearsall got some sideline work today, but don't love it. You're welcome, Jeff. I got from prior year the Clemson Paw. Oh, nice. Glad you got it changed over. Yeah, so even then, technically they both got limited, but that just means that they were, I'm pretty sure neither of them had full contact and were in non-contact jerseys. Pearsall was along the sides, which always makes it even more nervous, but don't love it as an option. Or Tamara, it's still going to be Tonjes. I'm not trusting Jonnu. I have to see how that ends up breaking down. I'm hoping the buy changes some things, but too much of a risk. Njoku looked good, but again, less touches, less snaps still. So very curious to see how that ends up breaking down for him. With they likely won't have Pearsall, so I'm super nervous on it. But we'll see how it goes. You're going to be back Sunday, so I'll definitely be answering it again Sunday. Trayvon, Scatterboo, Dowdle, Pittman, Sutton need 3 out of 5. Okay, it's definitely going to be Dowdle, Pittman, and then it gets interesting. I think that I would go Sutton, but it's pretty close with Brian Thomas. I really like them both. I just think I trust Sutton more, as scary as that is, to be the more active player. I'm also a little bit down on Pittman just because don't love the matchup for him. I am tempering expectations just a smidge because Colts have been pretty good against or Cardinals have been pretty good as like wide receiver ones, and I'm guessing Pittman's going to get a tougher coverage. So very curious to see how that breaks down. All right, Tank. Isaiah Bond, Cooper Kupp, Trey Tucker. Okay, so I am going to play Tucker just because of the fact that Bowers is out, and when Bowers has been out, he has yet to see under 6 targets in those games. The first 2 games he was out, he saw 9, and then this past game, I think he saw 6 or 7. So I'm being conservative. But he's a big play guy. I really hate the matchup for him, but I think there's a lot more upside. If you're projected to lose, that's who I'm going to roll with. However, if you want more of a stable thing, it's going to be Isaiah Bond. He was running right step in step with Cedric Tillman out, and he's the wide receiver 2 on that team. And he saw a lot of targets in his limited snaps in comparison to Jerry Jeudy and Njoku. So, Evan Ingram or Zach Ertz. Interesting. I'm probably going to go back to Ertz. it's just very difficult for me to trust Evan Ingram. They really don't seem to like him there. He continues to, we talked about it somewhat yesterday, but he continues to fight with the coach, which is a big issue. Peyton's kind of a respect guy, and if you're not giving it to him, he is kind of mean. So, likely mean you're not going to play a whole lot. But just how it's going to be. All right. I think I got all the questions answered. If you guys have more, roll them in. Otherwise, make sure you like and subscribe. Of course, full rated shows. We're right here Thursday night. Football countdown. Tomorrow we have locked in our betting show. If you're looking for best bets, these guys work as some of the best bettors. And so massive. And then, of course, I will be back Sunday. I won't be here early. I will be here at 11 a.m. Central, answering your questions up until kickoff at noon. So, and then, of course, I'm back Monday with all the waiver wire options you could possibly think of. Daniel, you're killing me. Assuming this is just the wide receiver position, I'm going to play it safe and go Wandale. If you're really wanting to shoot for the moon, as I think I answered this yesterday, but if you're shooting for the moon, it's Tucker. Bowers looks like he's out. I know Mayer's going to potentially be back, but even then, it's really been Trey Tucker who has stepped up when the tight end Bowers has been out. He's been the tight end or the player that steps up and sees targets. So much rather we'll roll with that. Something else to watch that if you have kickers, granted, I know it's not a whole lot of people that are still playing kickers, but you have to take notice of it because it is somewhat important. McManus still hasn't practiced. I know it's a scheduled rest day, but something to definitely keep an eye on because I don't know who would end up stepping up for him, but it's definitely interesting to kind of see who would potentially be. I think the backup is what is that kid's name? Not why am I thinking Denver? It's not Denver. It's why can't I think of the team now? I was thinking it was Denver, but that's Lutz now. It used to be McManus so many years ago. He's now a Packer. So unsure. This is going to be interesting. It is their kicker. They literally don't have one. So I think they'd end up having to play Whelan as a potential backup, which not something you're looking forward to. But the fact that they haven't had a whole lot of movement makes me a little more trusting of him playing. But tomorrow's going to be a big deal. So definitely something to keep an eye on and stay updated with because massive opportunity for a potential streamer for you guys. All right. What else? Cole's put Slater on IR, signing Michael Badgley, which is another good option for kicker if you're looking because Slater had been pretty good. And they get the Cardinals, so could expect a lot of points. The other thing that's kind of big is Dallas Cowboys. Miles Sanders did not practice today. Was kind of a surprise. So, Tamara coming in hot. Henderson, Shaheed, or Golden. Don't have another QB unless I picked up. Yeah, not playing Rush. Again, depends what you need. If you are projected to lose, I'd play Golden. If you are projected to win, I'd play Shaheed. Shaheed has been pretty steady this year when it comes to his output in fantasy. For what it's been, okay, he's had, 9.3, 15.2, 8.2, 9.2, 21.4. So if he can pull off a big play, that's all it's going to take, and he's going to really pay you out. Meanwhile, Golden is in the read role currently, but after 2 slow starts, he had 10. So 3.6, 1.5, 10.1, 11.3. Coming off of a bye, I'm really hoping they decide to get him rolling. I don't like that Watson's coming back. I really think that just makes it even more messy. Granted, that's not 100% yet, but he will be back sooner or later. Also, Reed will be back sooner or later. Watson, I actually think, really hurts Wicks of all the players on the Packers. So you can kind of guess that Wicks is going to just disappear into the Shadow Realm until another injury pops up. Also looks like Alec Pierce is going to be back. So if you want a home run play, Alec Pierce is going to be that guy. Talk about Shaheed. Pierce is kind of the same player, except for his offense is a little better right now. So, yeah, I think that's all of the big stuff. So, as we talked about tonight, don't love the matchup. Lower scoring game, as projected by Vegas. Only lower scoring game is Browns and Steelers. So, one of the things we like to kind of do is go for higher scoring games, higher scoring offenses in particular. So it will be more interesting to kind of see how that works out. Another thing that popped up is Xavier Worthy had DNP today as well. So that's going to be something that you kind of want to watch as well. I think he's probably fine, and just it's a veteran rest day because he is coming back from an injury that takes a little bit. So, all right. Well, with hardly anybody here, I'm going to get out of here. Thank you guys so much. Hope you have a good Thursday night. Enjoy the game. I will be back Sunday answering your questions. And, of course, like and subscribe. We have a full slate of shows. I'll be back Monday with The Wire, Wednesday with Neil, talking all of your questions. All your answers are going to be found this day, and then I'll be back again Thursday. Tomorrow is a betting show, so yeah, I hope everybody has a good week. Good luck. Make sure you don't have anybody in your flex that is playing tonight. Make sure they are in a position, whether that is quarterback, running back, or wide receiver, tight end. Make sure they're playing in those positions, not the flex, so you have the flexibility to win. Otherwise, I hope you all have a good week. And remember, as always, to keep up the nonsense. We'll see you guys.